Today is Wednesday, September 13th, 2023, and this is the Dunkley Report. Emergency workers uncovered more than 1,500 bodies in the wreckage of Libya's eastern city of Derna, and it was feared the toll could surpass 5,000 after floodwaters smashed through dams and washed away entire neighborhoods of the city. The startling death and devastation caused by Mediterranean storm. Daniel highlighted the vulnerability of a nation torn apart by chaos for more than a decade. The country is divided by rival governments, one in the east, the other in the west, and the result has been neglected infrastructure in many areas. Outside help was only just starting to reach Derna on Tuesday, more than 36 hours after the disaster struck. The floods damaged or destroyed many access roads to the coastal city. Google is confronting a threat to its dominant search engine as federal regulators launch an attempt to dismantle its internet empire in the biggest U.S. antitrust trial in a quarter century. Over the next 10 weeks, federal lawyers and state attorneys general will try to prove Google rigged the market in its favor by locking its search engine in as the default choice in a plethora of places and devices. On Tuesday, prosecutors opened their case by saying it's about the future of the Internet and whether Google's search engine will ever face meaningful competition. Google is arguing that competition from Microsoft's Bing, Amazon, and Yelp keep the marketplace fair. Google is confronting a threat to its dominant search engine as federal regulators launch an attempt to dismantle its internet empire in the biggest U.S. antitrust trial in a quarter century. Over the next 10 weeks, federal lawyers and state attorneys general will try to prove Google rigged the market in its favor by locking its search engine in as the default choice in a plethora of places and devices. On Tuesday, prosecutors opened their case by saying it's about the future of the Internet and whether Google's search engine will ever face meaningful competition. Google is arguing that competition from Microsoft's Bing, Amazon, and Yelp keep the marketplace fair. Authorities have reiterated that escaped murderer Danilo Souza Cavalcante is believed to be within a perimeter in a rural stretch of southeastern Pennsylvania after he stole a rifle from a garage and fled a homeowner's gunfire. Pennsylvania State Police said again Tuesday evening that Cavalcante is believed to be in South Coventry Township and that residents should secure buildings, property, and vehicles. Police closed roads Tuesday and set up the new search area, saying about 500 law enforcement personnel are searching or guarding an 8 to 10 square mile area, roughly 30 miles northwest of Philadelphia. Cavalcante escaped from the Chester County Jail August 31st after being sentenced to life for killing an ex-girlfriend in 2021. Lawyers for Donald Trump have asked the federal judge presiding over his election subversion case in Washington to recuse herself. They say her past public statements about the former president and his connection to the January 6th, 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol call into question whether she can be fair. The recusal motion Monday from Trump's lawyers takes aim at U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan, a former assistant public defender who was nominated to the bench by President Barack Obama. She has stood out as one of the toughest punishers of January 6 defendants. Critics of cash bail as a condition of pretrial release say it is especially unfair to black people and other people of color. Some former defendants say their lives were upended when they were arrested and charged with crimes in Illinois, but couldn't make bail. That state is moving away from the policy. A law abolishing cash bail will take effect in Illinois on September 18th. The change makes Illinois the first state to eliminate the practice and a nationally watched testing ground for whether such a change can work. Proponents of cash bail systems argue it ensures defendants show up for court proceedings, and that without it, violent criminals who are released pre-trial may commit more crimes. Turkish officials say an American researcher who was pulled out of a deep Turkish cave after becoming too sick to climb out on his own is doing well in a Turkish hospital. Rescuers from across Europe helped save Mark Dickey, 40, who suffered internal bleeding more than 3,000 feet below the entrance of Morka Cave in southern Turkey. He emerged from the cave early Tuesday strapped to a stretcher and was whisked to a hospital by helicopter. Speaking to reporters after his rescue, Dickey described his 9-day ordeal as a crazy adventure. Hillary Clinton has joined Jill Biden at the White House to honor the recipients of a prestigious arts prize. It was the former First Lady's first public appearance at the White House since she was Secretary of State in the Obama administration. Clinton and Biden on Tuesday honored the recipients of the Premium Imperiale, given annually by the Japan Arts Association for lifetime achievement in the arts. Clinton is its U.S. advisor. 3 recipients who were present are trumpeter Wynton Marsalis, painter Vija Chelmans, and theater director Robert Wilson. Biden told Clinton her lifetime of work has left an indelible mark on this country. New York Jets coach Robert Saleh says Aaron Rodgers has a torn left Achilles tendon, and the 39-year-old quarterback will miss the rest of the season. An MRI revealed the severity of the 4-time NFL MVP's injury, confirming what the Jets feared after their 22-16 overtime win over Buffalo. Saleh said Rodgers will have season-ending surgery, but he wasn't certain when that would occur. Rodgers was injured on his 4th regular season snap in a Jets uniform. Zach Wilson replaced him in Monday night's game. Saleh said the Jets will look at bringing in other quarterbacks to back up Wilson. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says he's directing the House to open an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. The Republican leader faces mounting pressure from his right flank to take action as the House returns Tuesday for a disruptive fall agenda. McCarthy plans to convene lawmakers behind closed doors multiple times this week, including for a meeting to discuss the Biden impeachment. McCarthy also is struggling to pass legislation needed to avoid a federal government shutdown. It's a familiar political bind for the California congressman, who's juggling the impeachment inquiry and the government shutdown threat with no clear endgame. The White House dismisses the impeachment push as politically motivated. Today's news was reported by the Associated Press. This has been the World News for Wednesday, September 13th, 2023. Thanks again for joining us at The Dunkley Report.